Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Welcome again to our Friday 15 minutes podcast. We started this series of teaching on Monday on the third bash of my marriage is killing me. Now, I will not be able to run through what I've said in the past two episodes. So I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel by pressing on subscription button. Then a bell comes out, press on the bell, and then you are a subscriber. It's essential that you press on the bell. You know why? So that every time the podcast is ready, YouTube will always send you a notification, and then you can follow us up on your series of podcasts. Now, I left off by, we took our text from Matthew 19, from 3 to 9. I won't be able to read it again, so you go through it, and then you'll be able to follow us up on today's podcast after you have gone through the last two episodes. So I left off where I said to you that you should stop sweeping quarrels under the carpet in your marriage all the time. Those offenses is what the enemy needs to form the bricks to build a wall against you and your enemy. And I've spoken extensively about that. So I'm just going to continue to show us what to do about quarrels. Now, I tend to misunderstandings in the marriage on time. Even if it means apologizing first to give peace a chance, and put them behind you, and don't use them to form a brick in the marriage between you and your spouse until they are in another wall from you, according to Jesus in that Matthew 9:8. He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, allow you to put away your wives. From the beginning it was not so. Listen to me. It's better you apologize to a spouse than to allow them to be offended, and you keep sweeping the offense under the carpet and say to yourself, don't worry, by the time he comes back from place of work, he will have forgotten. Or, okay, you know what? You try to use sex to cover it up, or you try to use money to cover it up. Now, listen to me. Now, that's why most rich men also divorce, even with all the money. Because listen to me, after sex and money, the next thing again that causes divorce in marriages is communication breakdown. Once a communication is broken down, it doesn't matter how rich you are, you end up in divorce. You know why? Because listen to this. The enemy takes the offenses to build a brick, and they use it to build a wall. And then once a spouse's heart is hardened, then you can't communicate to them. And then once you can't see the person on the other side, then you become alone. Divorce isn't everything. That's why many rich men, yesterday my wife and myself, we are watching a couple who feature regularly. In fact, they own a television station where others also come up. And do you know what? We are sad to hear the news that they are divorced. They have the money. It's possible they even enjoy the best of sex. But do you know what? It's possible. That's what I diagnosed. That the cause of their divorce was communication breakdown. Listen to me. Time don't heal offenses. You must treat them. I explained to you in the last episode how we have lost a dog until we ended up treating the wound. So when you allow your marriage to get to this point where your spouse's heart is hardened, divorce might just be better than you still hanging in the marriage, because they cannot hear you cannot hear your voice in their hearts any longer. And this is why Moses permitted it for the advantage of the woman in that Matthew 19:18, when Jesus defended Moses and said, he said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, allow you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. How can two live together in the same house except they can communicate with each other again and again? According to Amos 3:3, that says, can two walk together except they be agreed? You can only talk about agreement where there is still communication. You cannot talk about agreement where there is no communication. Where there's no communication, once communication is gone, you can't talk about agreement. Because listen to me, we need to communicate with one another first before we can even communicate. Before we can even agree. So if you are living in the same house, we cannot agree, it's because communication is gone. So listen to me, whatever you do, you must make sure that communication between the two of you is opened. Yeah, it's open. It's open. Now, let's look at the next point. Argument is a monster. Argument is a monster. Yes. Argument is a monster. No one wins it. No one wins it. Even when you win an argument in your marriage, you will lose the heart of a spouse. And that same heart will become hardened over time and against you as you keep building up arguments after arguments and keep winning them. No one wins arguments. No one. Stop arguing, especially unnecessarily in your marriage. Like I told you, these couples were doing very great, television station, big church hall, big business, big everything, but they end up in divorce. You know the problem? Communication broke down. It's possible the husband was not carrying the wife on. In fact, it's possible the husband believed that the wife is not even getting what he's doing. He's not understanding him. He's not understanding him. And at the end of the day, because of frustration, they felt that, look, just go your way, let me go my way. Argument is a monster. No one wins it. Even when you win an argument in your marriage, you will lose the heart of a spouse. And that same heart will become hardened over time and against you as you keep building up argument after argument and keep winning them. No one wins argument. Stop arguing, especially unnecessarily in your marriage. Many things couples argue about in their marriages are not worth it. Sometimes you need to listen to them and they cannot be defined. What this argument is like. It is. Like the Pharisees in that Matthew 19:3-9. Hear what they said. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? They can't even tell you why. They just say for every cause. Not even mention one. Now, how can you divorce someone for every cause? How can you divorce someone for every cause? How do you mean for every cause? You should have a cause, my friend. Now, this is a baseless argument. These guys should give Jesus a reason for divorce. They said for any cause. Many arguments have no cause in many marriages. People just argue just for no cause. Just for no cause. Now, most achievers have that problem. You see, when you're an achiever, your spouse is not an achiever like you. Sorry to use that language. After one project, you go into the next one. After one project, you go into the next one. After one project. And you see, and if they cannot follow you up at the speed at which you are going, you feel that they become excess luggage. You get to a time you are no longer even talking to them about your project anymore. Or you tell them, or they say, let's slow down. Now, I am a lot careful with that. It's not everything you share with your spouse, and it's not everything you keep away from your spouse. Or else they will allow you to do your thing yourself. Then at a time, they will feel that they are no longer relevant in your life, and they don't need to hang in there anymore because communication has been broken down. Each argument in your marriage strengthens the thread of divorce until it becomes a rope that cannot be cut again. Now, no one wins arguments. It's a monster that will do no one good, especially couples. Especially couples. Avoid argument, and better put, choose what you argue over. Many arguments don't worth losing the heart of a spouse who loves you and cares for you. Many things many spouses argue over just don't worth it. Your fellowship one with another is much more important compared to what you want to argue over. Listen to me. Sometimes you just need to ask yourself a question. Must I argue this thing? It doesn't worth it. Because do you know what? If you argue it, you won't win the argument. You say, oh no, Reverend David, I always show my spouse the point, and at the end of the day, they have nothing but to agree with me. Now listen to me. To you, you thought you have won the argument, but no, you didn't. Listen to me. It will get to a time that they don't argue with you anymore. Do you know why? Because they don't have your time anymore. They don't have your time anymore. And then, do you know what you get? It will get to a time you will become frustrated. And then you will option for a divorce in that marriage. Because let me tell you, it gets to a point where they believe that they are no longer relevant. That they are no longer relevant in the marriage. Because all the arguments, you win it. They're no longer relevant in the marriage. So do you know what? So they keep to themselves. They keep to themselves. And when they get to a point where they keep to themselves, it means that they have developed a hardened heart against you. Now, I believe that's what happened to this couple I'm talking about. That we read about their divorce on Facebook yesterday. The man is a great achiever. But I strongly believe that what must have happened is that the man kept achieving. And the wife felt that, look, she's no longer relevant in that marriage and in the man's life. Because the man can succeed on his own without her. Now that brought her a frustration. And do you know what? With time, even when the man is mentioning his achievement, she will do as if she didn't hear him. Because after all, you achieve without telling me. So my opinion is not relevant again. Then you get the time, she will not tell herself, what am I still doing in this marriage? And do you know what? That is when divorce has already taken place. They are no longer living in the same house. In her heart, even though they are living physically, but they are no longer living in their heart. In fact, it was that bad that the woman and her children moved out of the man's life. So meaning that it was not only the woman who was feeling what she was feeling, even the children were feeling it. They all agreed that we are not relevant in this man's life anymore because we are not contributing to him. Neither is he communicating with us. So what are we still doing here? Avoid argument, and better put, choose what you argue over. Many arguments don't worth losing the heart of a spouse who loves you and cares for you. Many things many spouses argue over just don't worth it. Your fellowship one with another is much more important compared to what you want to argue over. You can make a point in your marriage without resolving to argument, without resolving to argument. Just mind your presentation, taking the feelings of your spouse into consideration. Instead of trying to win an argument, give your partner time to think about your argument. And you might be shocked that they may end up agreeing with your point, and praise them for their humility to have returned to agree with you. Now that's very important. Now listen to me. If you make a point and the other spouse does not see it, don't argue it. Put their feeling into consideration. Don't argue, don't go into argument. Just leave it like that. Give them time. Do you know what? On their own, they will come back and say, oh, that thing you just mentioned, I think you are right. I think we can. Do you know what? Praise them, embrace them, give him or her a kiss to let you know that you appreciate their humility. So I've just run out of time now, but they say I'm not out of series yet. So next week we'll continue on Monday on this same episode, on this same what's called Bash, on the communication edition of my marriage is killing me. From me here, I want to tell you that Jesus Christ is Lord. I will see you in our Monday 15 minutes podcast.